Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Wolfcast. I'm here casting a game of League of Legends. This game right here is of course a high ELO solo queue ranked game that I saw in the lobby and decided to cast. So let's have a look at the lane matchups then, shall we? So it will be a Singed versus a Jarvan top lane, and Morgana versus a TF mid lane. Graves Sona versus this Taric Israel bot lane. In the jungle for blue team we do have a Shaco. In the jungle for purple team, who do we have? Nocturne, who's currently was just buying at the shop, and now we're finally returning to, of course, that jungle to get some more of that delicious jungle mobs, nick all their gold, and go back and buy all these legendary precious items. Having a look at the CS, of course it is actually, I should probably talk about that first then, shouldn't I? It is almost 6 minutes. 4 kills have gone down on blue team's side, 7 kills have gone down on purple team's side, so far this game has been horrendously active. And let's hope that we see a little bit more of that happening later on, and a lot of crazy happenings, crazy kills, and all sorts of other nutty, but yet absolutely amazing stuff that we can witness. Does look like Nocturne is taking those raves. TF did actually blow his ult. Where is he ulting to? He is actually ulting to bot lane. Did get a bit of a gank off here. Graves gets really low, and TF lands that gold card, follows it up, and actually picks him off with some amazing combos. Graves did not see that coming. He managed to pop that gold card off at the right time, followed it up with a tremendous amount of stacked cards, and of course claimed that kill, making it 5 kills to 7 in favor of purple team. Purple team only do have about a 600 gold lead at the moment, which isn't tremendous. And it does look like Nocturne is looking to get onto the Singe. They do spot him. Nocturne doesn't decide to go in there and engage. He's going to wait for him to return to that creep lane. It does look like Nocturne will back off there. A little bit of a glitch did make it seem like he flashed, but have no fear, he didn't actually flash there. All the while, we should probably have a look at the CS that's going down these lanes. So, does look like Morgana is sitting on 42 CS to TS 41. Relatively even there. Up top lane we do have a Jarvan that's sitting on 40 CS to, of course, the Singe is 32. Down bot lane we have the Graves sitting on 38 CS to Israel's 36. And then the jungle, Shaco sitting on 22 CS. Nocturne sitting on 34, so that's the only real lead in CS in the jungle. The other lanes have been pretty even here, but the kills tell a different story. Sona picking up 3 kills there with 1 death. Graves having 2 kills and 2 deaths. Both Jarvan having 1 kill and 1 death. Morgana just having that 1 kill. On the side of blue team, you do see this Israel with 1 kill, 2 deaths. TF with 1 kill, 1 death. Singed with 1 kill and 1 death. And Taric with 2 kills and 1 death. So far the assists, the kills have really been going down on these supports. And TF is using his ult yet again, but he's ganking top lane this time. Decides to chase after this Jarvan. Unfortunately, Singe wasn't in position to fling him. Otherwise, that could have ended very differently and vastly in the favor, of course, of the Singed. That could have been very nice for him if he had played that appropriately. Unfortunately, it was a little bit out of position and did get punished by not managing to claim that kill. Morgana is going to come down, and will they actually decide to take this Dragon Run now? Graves decided to engage here. Shadow being put down, collateral damage, and Nocturne will finish off the Israel. They're going to change targets back onto that tower, but he will flash that tower and be able to escape there. But still, Nocturne managing to pick up a kill, increasing their kill lead to, of course, 8 to 5 at the moment, with about 1,000 gold lead. And they won't be able to take the dragon, but they are going to settle for a kill, which again, is very nice. And this Graves is going to probably try to push up this wave. There you go, Buckshot coming out, clearing the waves out, wants to push it up and wants to try and make this bot lane lose as much CS as they can. There's risks to change the lane, but he will lose quite a bit of CS to this tower. And if that turret gets too CSy, they can punish him. Shaco is waiting in the wings, so Dazzle does go down. He falls over, the Trendo comes down. Graves gets very low, exhaust being put down. One more auto will do it, but he's right to the tower, and Shaco was just attacking away at him, and he will go down to Shaco. Now Shaco's changed his targets to the Sona. He is chasing after him. He does have that 2-shift poison, but the Sona will be able to use those power chords to, of course, do enough damage to frighten that Shaco away and stop that Shaco from chasing after her. She will back and buy some more items. All in all, that probably was favourable. Shaco getting a kill, but Graves getting a kill. Graves probably scales a little bit better, but it wasn't all that favourable for them. Graves now deciding to go for the boots, double Dorans into pickaxe. Is going to try and rush the Infinity Edge. True shot coming out, of course, was to clear that wave, and Israel's trying to do what Graves was previously doing, which is push this wave up to the minion tower and try to make this Graves lose as much CS as possible. All the while, you do see this Israel also going for the Trinity Force. Sorry, the Infinity Edge, not actually going for the Trinity Force. Deciding to go for the Infinity Edge instead. Infinity Edge, of course, does do more mathematical damage, but the Trinity Force gives you that utility. And of course scales so well with Israel that most people build Trinity Force nowadays just because with those utility you can normally do a little bit more damage and be a little bit more useful in these team fights. But of course if you do build that Infinity Edge and you do get left alone just to sort of hack away at the enemy team, you will be doing a lot more damage. So it's really just a trade-off on whether you think what your position will be in that team fight. Does look like TF is making a move down bot lane, but they are onto him. He's going to teleport in, grabs having that guard card and finally landing. Exhaust was used on him too. They will be able to pick up and kill. Israel actually picking up that kill. Now Sona and Nocturne are far on their tail. The feel coming up that he does actually have to use a flash there to escape from that fear, but still managed to get away. Duck Bunny is going to come forward. Does land on that. Israel, she has actually decided to go in here, uses that Ignite too. She will go down, but she will take Israel to the grave with her. That Ignite, and of course that Tormented Soil. She will go down. She will take a kill. The Jack in the Box coming out. Of course, Sheko immediately popping that ult, chasing after that Nocturne, doing a reasonable amount of damage too. Does use that 2-shift poison to threaten them off. TF is of course farming up that lane, doesn't want to come up and try either kill into these Nocturne. Sona probably wouldn't have been successful either way. Do excuse me. He is having a bit of a sort of a taunting war with this Nocturne, both calling each other all sorts of names. Neither one of them really willing to engage just yet. Sona and Graves finally return to lane, and they're just going to go back to the usual monotonous CSing of their day-to-day job. All the while, let's have a look at what's going up here top lane. Singe does have 87 CS to, of course, Jarvan's 85, so it's been pretty darn even at the moment. Jarvan decided to build that GP10 with the Heart of Gold and the Philostone. Singe actually building exactly the same build, apart from the fact that he's got that Ninja Tabi. He does have that Heart of Gold and, of course, that Philostone. In mid lane, we do see Morgana sitting on 2 kills now, 80 CS, TF's 1 kill, but he does have 4 assists, and does have that 93 CS. Looks like he is trying to rush that, if I had guessed, the Death Cap. Does have that Needlessly Arched Rod. Morgana has her own Needlessly Arched Rod, and she of course has the Sorcerer's Shoes, as well as that one Doran. So it does look like Morgana and TF actually have exactly the same build, and it looks like they're leaning towards building exactly the same build. Well, Morgana might be turning that Needlessly Arched Rod into the Force Hourglass. That would be possibly, arguably, a smarter idea there. Would give her, of course, that amazing utility in those teamfights and the ability to actually get in the middle of the fray, be able to stay alive. And this look if I was a betting man, I'd definitely bet on that that Hourglass instead of that Death Cap at the moment. TFS actually teleporting in gold card onto that Sona. The turret goes down to the Graves. A relentless assault. He did full through shotgun shells, and it did turn out that it was super effective. He did manage to claim a kill there, and no Pokemon Center will bring that character back now. Let's look like the spell shield does actually block that gold card amazingly. Tarek is Strikers Shaco, there you go, got completely confuddled there. Shaco will be able to take out Graves, but Morgana's going to be in there to clean up, and all in all, that was a 2-kill favor to 1. Graves going down to Shaco, but of course Nocturne being taken out. Nocturne taking out Shaco, and Nocturne also, and I think it was Morgana who took out TF there, wasn't it? So of course that was a favor. Was in the favor of Purple Team, but only slightly. But they will be able to take this dragon, which means that it's going to be firmly in their lead. It's going to be very beneficial, very lucrative. There you go, and they're going to increase their gold lead to about a 1.6k lead, almost 1.7, which is a pretty darn good lead at the 40-minute mark. They're going to be happy with that. Of course, they always want more, but Purple Team are known to be greedy. She's going to place that ward out to, of course, spot that TF, because she does know that TF is rather fond of ganking this bot lane and using that ult to, of course, gank that bot lane frequently. So she's going to chuck up that nice ward there, so they will be able to see when that TF comes into range, so they will have an idea of when he's actually going to be jumping in, and also where he's going to be jumping in, because he can only really jump to 2 places as top lane or bot lane. And it's obvious if junglers and Jangi, he'll probably be jumping to there. So it really sort of narrows down where he's going, and there's a really nicely placed ward. And of course also spots those Shaco ganks coming in. All the more doing a very good job. Doing the job exactly what they need to do. She does take a lot of damage from this TF. TF doing a brilliant job of laning against this Morgana, and is actually quite convincingly winning his lane at the moment with 107 CS to. That course that Morgana's 107. So he isn't winning that lane. I did speak way too soon. But then it is hard to shut down a Morgana from farming. If there's one thing she can do, it's kill those bloody minions. Otherwise Shaco actually decides to tease over the wall. Sinjets are going to chuck him, but TF is ulting out, and it will use that gold card onto that Jarvan. Explosive's been put down as well as the Ignite, and he will go very low, and this will definitely be a kill. The 3-man ganking squad was just too much for that Jarvan to handle, and they will kill him, and that kill will be claimed by TF. They're going to return to bot lane, top lane, mid lane. Third one to try. It's the last lane I could have named, but of course it was eventually right. But while Graves doing and Sona doing a good job at zoning this Israel under the tower, but this Israel's doing even better job at farming. You will lose 1 farm there. He's sitting on 101 farm to, of course, this Graves 94, so he's doing a better job, but they will engage on this tower. Crescendo landing on both of them. Exhaust being used on that Graves, and Ignite has been put onto that tower, and they will decide just to do a little bit of damage to that Israel and zone them off the tower. He's going to use that true shot just to try and clean up that wave, and also do a little bit of damage. Nocturne is coming in. He does have his ult. If he can get in range of this Israel, like he looks like he will do. They did have a ward in that bush, but will it be enough? I think it's too late. He's going to go after him, and he's just going to bait out their arcane shift, and of course return to just CS that wave. It looks like they won't actually want to take this tower. Do they want to take this tower right now? Do they want to increase their lead? Take the second tower of the game. Sin's actually deciding to teleport forward using that slow. He's going to chuck him back. Graves into a bad position. Turret coming up too. And that Singe, this is too tanky. He does use flash, but Dazzle does land. He's going to fall with the shadow. He's going to go down to, of course, that Singed. Singe being far too tanky and, of course, doing a steady amount of damage, managing to actually choke that Graves to death on absolutely pungent, stinking fumes. An absolute horrible, agonizing way to go. That's the way the Singe decides to kill his targets with the farts and the smells of his last meal. They are, of course, pinging that Jarvan 2 back, but he does want to do damage to his tower, and he might be able to take this out. Doesn't look like he will do, actually. Singe is going to come out, and he's going to immediately scare him off the tower. You do not want to try and take out a tower while Singed is farting all over you. Does not work in your favor. Shaco's going to make a move on this blue buff, and of course, give it to TF. Taking it down very fast because of course that Shaco is exactly what Shaco does with that Wriggles lane, and man, he just does so much damage. But of course, he hasn't mastered the art of pressing S yet, and making that TF go on a little bit of a wild goose chase. But of course, he did manage to claim his prey eventually. We just needed a bit of a rocky montage. That's what Shaco is doing. Of course, he's just training the body and mind with that TF to go against his Russian competitor, which is apparently Morgana. Singe is, of course, chasing after this Jarvan, but he is a little bit out of position here, and they are pinging on to gank, but nobody is nearly there to gank. He will chuck Jarvan back into his must and do a little bit more damage. Now Morgana is coming up behind the Singe. If Singe is not careful, he could be in a bad spot, but he is troll Singed, and he will just swish and run away, and looks like he is going to take the appropriate path to actually escape them. Morgana dark binding a random bush to see if he was in there, but unfortunately he wasn't in there for them. Nocturne coming in with his ult, but he won't have enough to take out that Shaco or that TF. Doesn't quite TF. Crescendo coming in from behind, and that's enough because Cataclysm coming down, sealing everyone into their doom. True shot coming out too. Sona picking up that Shaco. And now Singe is Jarvan's so very low, he will go down, but looks like Tarek will go down too, and they're going to focus onto the Singe. Singe is actually just going to chase after them, though. He's looking like he wants to do a bit of damage to that Sona, but doesn't want to get too cocky there. But he is Singed, of course, so he is very, very tanky, but Israel's coming in from behind. He is flinging that Sona out of position. Israel, Arcane shifting forward. Mystic Shot comes out, but it's not enough to take out their Sona. Sona will back to live yet another day. The 20-minute mark, it does look like Blue Team do have about a 1,500 gold lead, which isn't much at all, but it's still a lead. All in all, I'd have to give my late game favor to, of course, this Purple Team. Purple Team do have I'd say a slightly stronger late game comp because of that Graves compared with, of course, the Israel. Graves is a little bit better at scaling, generally a little bit better in these team fights. The Cataclysm played down very nicely, of course, with that Morgana ult as well. And the Sona Crescendo, they have a good bit of CC, but it really comes down to the positioning of each team. And these advantages don't really count for all that much, and they don't have an overwhelming advantage. That's the word I was looking for there. So it could really go either way here. It looks like they will be able to take that dragon there. Blue Team taking the dragon, going to increase their lead even more. But still not that big of a deal here. They are sitting on about 34k. To, of course, Purple Team's 31.6. So it is fairly even at this point in time. They do have about a 2.5k lead now, but that's not all that much, and that could be very easily caught up with one bad team fight, so they have to be very careful about where they engage here. As I said, this Purple Team have a lot of CC, and a very, very dangerous team fight, so if Blue Team engage in the wrong spot, man, at the wrong time, they will be, of course, eliminated very quickly and very swiftly. And there shall be no survivors. Sheko's going to chase after that. Dazzle does land. He does go into damage. Crescendo immediately coming out. And Sheko takes so much very, very damage. But the Graves is going down there. Morgana popping on Hourglass. And looks like it will pop off of that Tarek. Tarek will fall. But everyone, of course, in Purple Team is so very low. Since chasing after them. Cataclysm being laid down. They're going to chase after this Israel now. Looks like they did come out somehow favorable in that, but Graves actually being chucked back into the stagnant must and will suffocate to death yet again. And now there's Israel and the Singe just going to be running around, causing havoc, going where he pleases. He doesn't care if he's not Mundo. He is Singed. He is better at that. And he will give chase to that Nocturne. Javin's going to have to dunk himself over the wall. All in all, that was, of course, in favor to Purple Team. Did only lose 2 players, whereas Blue Team did lose 3. But if they could push a tower here, but that TF is going to be... Sorry, that TF, the Nocturne's going to be the stone defender there. Looks like he will be able to defend that tower. Will be pushed back into that poison. It's been kited around a little bit. So just not really caring about the tower at this point. He is so very tanky. He does have that Frozen Heart at the moment. Got that Giant's Belt. Blasting Wand. The double GP10. Surprised you haven't seen an early Rod of Ages on him. That seems to be the typical build, but maybe he's staying away from that, and it is working for him very well. Morgana actually going in, trying to land that Dark Binding. It will not quite land, but it does force him to, of course, stop recalling. Sona will take that tower, take that ward, I should say. It's like a very, very miniature tower that doesn't do any damage, though. You can understand my confusion. Flamingo Soil are going to farm that lane very, very nicely. Looks like Singe will engage onto this Jarvan, but Jarvan doesn't have a lot of health. Singe is just so very tanky, and everyone knows how chasing a Singe will end. He just doesn't have enough damage to do that. Sheko is coming in now too, and they will turn the tide. Singe is going to give chase. He's going to deceive the wall. Slow has been come out. He's going to dunk away low. His source has been used on. Cataclysm coming out. He's in a bad spot, but Graves is finally here as well as that Morgana. Graves is coming over the backshot. And just immediately cleaning up with that collateral damage as well, and that Singe will go down. Morgana picking up a double kill. Crescendo coming out, but of course he did manage to shift that. Nocturne coming turn 2. Oh, the Fear not quite getting off on that TF. They're going to change targets to this Tarek, and he will go down, but that true shot, oh, absolutely amazing from that Israel managing to pick up that Morgana, but now Israel's going to be jumped on and sliced and shot into little pieces. Absolute Swiss cheese filled with holes and shreds, and now Purple Team are going to move on this Baron. I don't know whether they'll have the team to take this out. It does look like they will. They easily have enough damage to take it out. That Jarvan is on very low health. He's still doing a decent job at tanking this, and it's going to go down, and Purple Team are going to be able to claim. Actually, Jarvan going down to the Baron there. Oh, he must be face palming right now. That is not really all that bad, but it is embarrassing. He just needed to pull out there. But unfortunately, men never retreat. But men also die in terribly horrific and embarrassing ways, as Jarvan has learnt that the tough way. Blue team do have Baron buff now. Let's see who they've got Baron buff on. It does look like they've only got Baron buff on this Nocturne and Graves. So it isn't the most lucrative Baron, but still the Baron Gold is going to be very, very nice. And you can see for the first time in this game, they have managed to claim a gold lead at 41.2k to, of course, 39.40k, basically. So they do have about a 1.3 gold lead. Morgana is going to be able to pick up that blue buff. And thank her, Sona, for tanking it. Getting beaten up for all that time, but not whining and complaining. Just taking it to the chin. Taking it like true Sona shall. Well, she might have been whining and complaining, but we'll never know because she is a mute. That's such a sad thought. She doesn't want to be here. She's actually screaming. None of us really understand her. But she shall troop on, and she shall gain many kills and land many crescendos, and hopefully help win this game for Purple Team. They are pinging on Israel to pick up that red buff. Be very nice for him. He's going to do exactly that. He won't mind picking that up, not at all. He's going to go down very quickly because, of course, he does have so much very damage, which is a characteristic of those AD carries. He's going to take out those little minions too. Now they're going to prep for this mid lane. They're pinging around the side. I don't know exactly why they're doing that. Maybe wanting to set up a bit of a gank or something, but it's a pretty obvious one if they decided to do that. TF does have that gold card lined up, so he is looking for a bit of a stun here. Tarek does land a dazzle, but on Jarvan, they don't really want to go in on that, but they will do a little bit of damage to him. Blue team are looking for a team fight here. Would it be a Cataclysm landing on the Israel and TF? Israel immediately using Arcane Shift to back off. Nocturne now killing out on that TF. Crescendo landing only on TF, but does seal his fate. Now they're all amongst in this fray. The Vanguard has been brought out, and it does look like Jarvan went down, and of course the TF is down now. Tarek, Graves and Israel having a huge duke out. Graves managing to pick off that Israel. Since running around in the middle of them, but he's being carted around, and they will go down with it. But Bunning landing. Nocturne picking up a double kill. And it does look like Shaco's the only one up there. Somehow that Vanguard, that mass of absolute powerful damage, did manage to come out in favor of this purple team. Lucky for them, and they will push down straight down the middle and go for the heart. Of course, the blue team, and that is their central inhib. They might be able to take that too. They've got 2 seconds on that TF. TF is up now. Looks like they will just back off and take Dragon. Of course, that is the smart idea. That is the safe route. And I don't want to give up this lead that they've worked so hard for on just throwing it away, on taking risks like that. And they do have a lead right now. They are sitting on 48.5k to, of course, the 42.8. Now, they do have... I can't do math, even basic math, but they are looking at about 7k lead now. Which is a pretty darn decent lead, I must say. It is a very, very nice lead at 28-minute mark at 7k. You're not going to complain about that. And let's see if they can take this lead and push it further. Baron has gone down, so they have no map objectives at the moment, so they can just return to lane and farm up. But probably the next fight that they're going to be looking for, unless someone gets caught, is going to be on that Baron, which Baron will be respawning relatively soon now. I wouldn't suggest that Purple Team push just at this point in time, because Baron will be respawning and they can just force a fight around that Baron, and then once they have that Baron buff, push out all these outer towers, push their lead even further. Or if they get a fight and of course the whole of Blue Team aren't up, then they could just go straight for the inhib. And it looks like they are going to be waiting for this Baron buff maybe right now, or maybe just trying to go for a gank on the Singe, but Singe is recalling, he is onto them. He is wised up to the situation and he will be able to escape. And they are all just chasing after this conga line of farm here. Wonder what the time on Baron buff was, but it must be relatively soon, and they are hanging around it. But they are pushing on this blue team, which are just pushing up this minion wave into mid. They don't really want to push that low. TF is pushing on the bot lane too. But you better hope that the Baron doesn't respawn right now, because that TF is a little bit out of position. Even though he's TF, he still has to run a little bit of distance before he can teleport to that Baron. Of course, Baron isn't respawned yet. So no danger to them. Does look like Purple Team are grouping up to push now. They do want to do something, right? They aren't quite content just waiting around. Looks like they are going to put pressure on, which is perfectly fine. They will engage onto the Singe, jumping a little bit out of position though. Graves coming in from the side, does pop a Jack in the box. They do know exactly where he is. Decide not to engage there, probably wisely. Looks like the Dark Bunny will land on that Tark, and that could be initiating a team fight. Tark will go down, collateral damage going out across. Only Tark and Singe, they did burn a lot of ults there. Does look like Baker being the Nocturne, did get a godlike there. He is very, very godlike. Which is very nice for him, of course. Jack in the Box going down. Just sieging as normal. They do have a kill, so they are going to decide to engage with that minion wave. Nocturne going his ult into the TFT, chasing so far off. Crescendo did land on that Israel. Israel will go down. They're going to search their target to Singe. Dark Binder going down to lock him down. They're all just hacking away at him. Even with all that tankiness, eventually they're going to get through your defenses. Eventually they're going to find a chip in their armor and they're going to rip it home. Rip it apart. Tear your heart out and leave it bleeding on the ground, because if I've learnt one thing about this Purple Team, it's that they are vicious bastards and they will take any lead and stretch it to unimaginable measures. So it does look like they will back. Not deciding to push that tower. Of course they are very, very low. Tark decided to dazzle, but he is going to go right into the enemy team. TF is here. Nocturne going straight in. Morgana will go down, but he's going to sacrifice that Tark. Graves was there maybe, but Graves of course was out there, I think, taking that blue buff. Baron has respawned now. Looks like the Graves is actually going to try and dash over the wall, but did fail. He does need to back off. They need to be careful of this Baron right now, because of course with all the Purple Team backing, this Blue Team is just going to beeline it towards that Baron, and they can take it extremely fast. Purple Team do have knowledge of this, but will they get down and fast enough? It doesn't look like Blue Team's going to be in position to take that, actually. Which is unfortunate. They could have definitely taken Baron right now. And it looks like they are pinging it, but Purple Team's still not in position. They've had so much warning, and they're just going to give up the Baron. The Baron's going to go down so very, very quickly, and that probably will be a free Baron for Blue Team. Sheka popping his ult there too. Will he go for the steal? Can he land the steal? He's popping his ult, goes in! But he doesn't land the steal, and now he's just a sacrificial lamb, just going to be gifted together. They're all going to team and kick him to death, of course, and then steal his wallet. The little hoodlums that has been known for Blue Team. Now, Blue Team do have, of course, Baron buff on everyone. And Purple Team had such an incredible amount of time to react to that. They knew it was coming. They had perfect vision of it. But they decided to back when they could have contested that, and they could have easily stopped that Baron. And that could give Blue Team the opportunity to actually come back in this game and win it, possibly. They are still a little bit behind, of course, sitting on 51.6k to the 57 of Purple Team. But it's not that far behind. And they are, of course, closing that gap. And this Baron buff, if they can use it appropriately, they could definitely come out ahead here. And they've gone to show that they can actually do these team fights. They aren't being destroyed every time. They just came out slightly unfavorable every time. This Baron buff could really tip the odds. But they need to use it appropriately, and first importantly, they need to use it. They are behind here, and they can't just sit around farming up all the lanes and delay the inevitable, because, of course, Blue Team are scaling a little bit better than they are, so they have to use this Baron buff. They have to try and push an advantage, which it does look like they're gearing up to 2, but Israel's still bot. He is clearing out massive waves, which is justified, but he needs to head to mid right away. Singe is actually looking for a fight here, and they really don't want to, not without their AD carry. They are getting pinged to back, and that is a wise decision. They need to wait for this Israel to, of course, turn up in lane. As soon as he turns up, they are in full strength, in full form, and now is the time to try and cause a fight here, but they need to look for the right one. They do not want to be caught out. That Cataclysm, that Morgana ult, that Crescendo could be so devastating, especially in these tight corridors that they're in. So they need to keep spread out. They need to have a good form, and they just need to look for mistakes. Look for that tiny mistake that this Purple Team will do, and then seize it and make victory with it. Purple Team do have an amazing clear time, but they are getting poked down, and of course with the respawn of this Baron buff, they can siege quite nicely. TF is quite good at sieging. Tormentor's sword being laid down at Singe, but it's just really going to do nothing. It's just going to tickle him. A little bit of warmth on the end of his toes. TF doing a good job at poking as well. This is real. But they probably need to look for a fight soon, because their Baron buff is wearing thin. But they can poke for a little bit longer, but they're getting a little bit grouped up. As you can see, they're just trying to spread out. They do not want to be caught. Dark Bunny does land on Tarek. Will they engage on this? No, they won't. He will be able to survive this popping and heal himself, and that amazing respawn, the amazing regen you can see is just doing absolute wonders for them. Dark Bunny is coming out, but as you can see, Purple Team are quite happy not to engage here. They know that they've got this Baron buff. They know that this Baron buff will be running out fairly soon, so they are pretty... it looks like this will be the engagement right now. They're going to push them straight off the tower, but they are grouping up, and they need to be careful of this. Dark Bunny does land on Tarek, but he's going to use that heal on himself, and now they're just going to push forward the next tower. Shaco Ghost coming out. They will take him out very quickly there. Shaco is not tanky, not at all. They were looking for a fight there, but of course Purple Team did peel off very nicely, and now it does look like their Baron buff will be wearing out very, very shortly, and that's all they're going to be able to do with this Baron buff. All they're going to be able to do is take one tower, which wasn't really the fight they were going to be looking for. Wasn't really the advantage they were looking for. The Purple Team dealing with that extremely well, actually. Extremely, extremely well. They knew exactly how to pull off. They were really acting as a team here. Considering this is a bunch of 5 random people, that was a really good play and good to see. Very refreshing. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They're all obviously experienced players, not making a mistake. They're not trying to engage, even when there was potentials to get kills. They realized that they didn't have anything to lose. Blue Team were the ones that had stuff to lose. Dark Bunny is going to come out looking to connect with that Singe, obviously getting a little frustrating with all that fart gas coming out. And now they're looking to push here. This could be actually a good move, and they are pinging to get these outer turrets, and they might as well. They're not going to have much luck at pushing this inner tower, I don't think. With this wave clear, I just don't see them as being able to do this, but they could easily push these outer towers and increase their gold lead. They do only have about a 3-4k gold lead now. So you can see this Blue Team is doing an excellent job at coming back here. They're going to engage on this turret. Dark Bunny lands here. He just pop out the hill himself. He does actually manage to flash back into the kernel because of him landing out. Does manage to pick everyone out. But of course not really being able to pick up anyone. And Israel somehow managed to pick up Morgana there. They're going to go straight in here, and Purple Team is in a good position. Singe is in the middle of them, but they managed to take out all this squishies, doing for this Crescendo coming up to block off the Israel. Nocturne doing wonders to him, but they will have to back off here. Blue Team actually doing a brilliant job. Croatia managed to pick off that Shaco, but he does get picked off. So TF's going to teleport to block off this Nocturne's retreat. He's going to be able to get that gold card off, and Nocturne will be dragged to the grave by this Blue Team, and now they're going to push their advantage. They could get an inhib here. This was the advantage. This was the opportunity that they're looking for, and they've seized it, rightly so, and they're going to reap the rewards. Pillage the Purple Team's base. Really well deserved here. Exactly what they're doing. They're going to push down this tower, move on to this inhib.
Purple Team's turret has been destroyed.
Possibly even push out another tower. They still do have actually a few seconds. It looks like they're going to go for the Nexus towers here. A bit of a brave move. They might be able to get one down, but Morgana is up now. That's one that's going to go down. They're going to back off straight away. That arcane shift from Israel is so clutch, managing to dodge that Dark Bunny by literal inches. He must have felt that on the Iron Quarters. They're going to make a move on this blue buff now. Going to take that blue buff, take their buffs as they back off, just to rub it in. Singe actually not going to take their red buff, and probably a smart idea too. Looks like that Sona Java, and I'm coming to claim that now. He's going to recall. As you can see, the gold total is almost extremely even now. 63.4k to 63.4. So the gold totals are completely even, almost at the 40-minute mark. You don't see this very often in the solo ranked play. You almost never see this in the solo ranked play. So it's really, really nice to see that these teams are, of course, taking these sort of even gold totals, and it doesn't look like Baron has respawned, and Purple Team are ready to receive. Excuse me, Blue Team do have a ward inside the Baron pit. They're going to actually take that with their oracles. Looks like Blue Team are set up, and this could be the fight to end it all. If they're not careful, One bad move here could absolutely end this for them. The Singe is going to go and engage, and looks like the gold card did land on that Nocturne, doing quite a bit of damage. Javin's trying to engage, but the Singe is not the target they're looking for. These are not the Singe they're looking for. The Shaco will actually pop as well. Crescendo coming out into both of those Shakos. Morgana ult coming out, and it will land on quite a few of them. Purple team are in a good position here. It looks like Israel's not been DPS down just yet, and he will do a lot of damage, but he doesn't manage to take out that Nocturne. Nocturne will take out by TF load. Graves and Sona are still up as well as that Morgana. They've still got 4 people up to, of course, the 2 in favor on the side of that blue team. And they're both very low. Deciding actually not to push, but of course they do have minions pushing right into their base. And they've got to take these out, because those minions are just absolutely knocking on the tower's door. Looks like that Graves will come in, clean that wave up quite nicely, get a bit of CS. As you can see, taking that hit was so huge, because if they hadn't done that, their purple team could have actually pushed forward, taking the Baron, and being in an absolute excellent position. This TF and Graves Singe have come out now. They need to worry low, because they can't be caught with their pants down yet again. They've had too much embarrassment. The school is already ridiculing them, and they do not want to get pantsed yet again by this blue team, as this blue team are going to just try and take this Baron. Singe is doing a good job with their oracles, and you can see they're all coming out towards this Baron pit, and blue team, purple team need to make their way out now as well. Looks like they will do that, and Singe is going to just laugh away, and rightly so, because he's just taking every single one of those wards that the Sona puts down. Sona was getting so frustrated, but of course she can't do anything about it. She just has to keep on putting down those wards, and Singe is just going to keep on clearing them. They've got a little bit of a thing going here. It looks like they will start on that Baron. And they're all out of position yet again. The Baron's getting melted. They need to get down there now, but they won't be fast enough. The Baron's just getting absolutely beaten down. Morgana's going to come in, but the Baron will go down now. They can't engage. Surely this has been used. Morgana's going to go and use the Hourglass immediately with the ult, but they're all going to peel off. Cataclysm catching all of them in the middle there. They will go in. The Crescendo is absolutely amazing. The blue team is doing a good job at just DPSing everyone down. TF is the only one up, and they will take him down too. Shaco's up now, he will go into that Morgana. Morgana will be taken up by him, but Graves is still up as well as that Nocturne. They will go forward, and it looks like they will have to back off. They are getting pinged to back off, but why? Purple team managing to take that, and they still have 2 Baron buffs left up, but of course, blue team managed to take that Baron. I am getting a little tongue-tied there, I don't know why. But of course, yes, purple team did manage to get pantsed a little bit, but they came out with ferocity and managed to leave that blue team with a bloody nose, which is good to see. But still, they don't really want to be giving up these Baron buffs as they are, man. They've given up 2 Barons just because they haven't been in position, and they had plenty of warring. It's as if they don't think that this blue team could take the Baron as quickly as they can, but they've been wrong every single time. Because that Baron just gets absolutely melted by this blue team. Looks like they are just all going to return to base and have a bit of a quiet downtime at the moment. We can have a look at the builds. It does look like Nocturne got the Radiant's Omen, Wriggle's Lantern. It's got the Negatron Cloak as well as the Wit's End and the Frozen Mallet. So as well as doing quite a bit of damage, he is extremely tanky. As you can see, the Singed, he's got the old Thorn Mail, Mercury Treads, Frozen Heart, Realize, Force of Nature, and also that Shirelles. So he is not only extremely fast, extremely tanky, he's going to be a pain for this team to, of course, take out. They are paying for them to fall back at the moment. And even at the 44-minute mark, the gold totals are only 900 gold in favor of purple team. Roughly 900 gold. Which is just absolutely nothing at this stage. You can see both teams have about 7,000 gold. 1,000 gold is just not going to make a difference. This team is so very, very even on both sides. Looks like they're going to try and engage on this Graves, so this is going to be a bad fight for this blue team. They've been caught in the side corridor, and finally, the ults is coming in, and now the Crescendo coming down. It didn't quite manage to land on the Israel. They're going to chase straight after the Israel purple team coming in. The cavalry is inbound, and they have arrived, and they will rip apart this blue team. They're just taking absolutely them about monotonously. That buckshot will be enough to take them out, and they will be able to push forward and probably win this game. They just need to win, though. That's all they need to do. Push down these towers. They could win. Cinch is backing. Will he have enough to stop this? TF is still up as well. But Purple Team are going to be able to take an inhib here and possibly take these Nexus towers. They're going to possibly try for it. It looks like they will do. They don't have any towers up. They're actually paying 2 fall back. So it looks like they won't push forward and win. Cinch is actually going after the zone and they're a little bit out of position. They will be engaged upon. Cinch will be able to have flash and of course get away there. And they're going to ping on that dragon as the way out. But that dragon doesn't really mean much, but of course it is just more gold. So why not? Purple Team do have about a 2k lead now, but 2k lead is only a 2k lead at the 45-minute mark. It's not really much. You'd expect to see about a 10k lead at this point in time. That's normal. And for solo ranked queue, it's normally like a 30k lead at this point in time. But these teams are evenly matched, and this is one epic game. The conclusion will come down to one minor mistake from either side, or one epic maneuver from either side. But every single tiny mistake will be scrutinized, and one person caught in the wrong position will spell disaster for either side at this point. Either side could win with one team fight. So they need to be extremely careful about where they engage and when they engage. And that's the reason why you see these players just being very cautious around this jungle, because these farm might be important, but it's not nearly as important as your life, and of course that 60-second cooldown on, of course, you reviving. 60 seconds is enough to, of course, make anything happen in League of Legends. Almost every player has hit the 6 item mark. As you can see, the supports and the jungle is the only ones that really haven't at this point in time. Morgana still is, of course, sitting on that Doran's Blade ring. So you can swap that out for something, but apart from that, she has completely 6 items. And it looks like Cinch will engage here, and this could be a bad fight for Purple Team. They do have, of course, Sona and, of course, Morgana have taken that blue, but they did have TF out of position there, farming up that top lane. It does look like Purple Team are just going to push down this bot lane now, take that tower, finish off every item they can, and why not? They've got a big wave pushing in here. They do have an inhib down. Of course, Blue Team does have their inhib down. Purple Team still have their inhib. They have an inhib up now, but it is open. But if they do any backdooring here, of course, Purple Team will just take that advantage. It looks like they will gauge onto this Israel. Crescendo landing on all of them, but luckily, unfortunately for them, and luckily for Blue Team, there was no one there to follow it up. That perfect crescendo that could have ended the match right there. If that Cataclysm had come down, but of course Cataclysm was up. I wonder why he didn't use it. Decided not to, I suppose. Hourglass being put on the Cinch, I don't even know why. Maybe a bit of a mixed clip. Purple Team have actually taken a lot of damage here. True Shot coming out to clear that wave and doing a tiny bit of damage, not that much. Jonah reacting with her own bit of damage. Tarek taking quite a bit there, but he does have that heal to keep him sustained, and his heal does quite a bit at this point in time. He's got a lot of armor and a lot of survivability, that Tarek. They're looking for this fight, man. They just need one opportunity. Just need to pounce on that one opportunity, and with that one opportunity, they could easily win this game. Both looking for anyone out of position, anyone and anything out of position. They just want something. Something's got to give. And when it does, they will seize it. Mark my words, they will seize it. Just trying to trade blows at this point in time. Both teams relatively even on the side of poke. Purple Team do have an inhib pushing now. Shirley's has been popped, and looks like Morgana's going to look for the Jack-in-the-Box. Is going to put it out. She does actually not get a hold of it. Takes a lot of damage, puts out the shield. Then she will go down. Hourglass has come out low, and it will be able to stun a lot of them. All the while Cataclysm being used. Israel goes down. Tarek and TF just take an absolute beating. That Nocturne is using those blades very, very effectively. All the while, it does look like Cinch has been taken out as well as Sheko. The TF is going to teleport forward, and their gold card has been used now. Looks like that Jarvan will go down, just one more hit and he will go down. Although Nocturne is going to go for a bit of a split push, it looks like. They're going to chase that Sona, and that TF is going to back off. They do want to spot this Nocturne from pushing this inhib, but now it's going to go down. Will they be able to stop him from taking the inhib? TF, of course, is low health. There's that GA. Nocturne on the other hand is low health too, but doesn't have his own GA, and this TF could just give him down. He's looking for it. He does use that gold, that shield, but that Shadow does, so it's Dazzle coming down, but oh, that GI being popped on that TF. So very, very close that the GA was popped. Imagine that last ditch effort, the last breath in his body, just slicing away and managing to catch the throat of that TF. And of course he lay gargling on the ground, but got a second chance from his guardian angel. They do have two open inhibs now, only one turret left, and the two Nexus turrets. On the other side, Purple Team do have the one Nexus turret and the two guardian inhibs at the moment. Purple Team do look like they're in a bit of a better shape, but they're going to head straight to this Baron. Hopefully they've learned from the last two Barons. They need to get down there quick. Jarvan only just respawned. They still got another 25 seconds on this Nocturne, so it does look like Blue Team are in an excellent position at taking this. Tarek is waiting in base for some reason. He didn't get his GA. Tarek's got his own guardian angel now. Don't see that too often. It looks like they're just going to make it move on this Baron. And why not? Nocturne is down, so they can just smite steal that. Purple Team, Purple Team are in position, but they won't be able to take that. They are getting zoned off by that Singe, and they will be able to take Baron for the third time. Blue Team, the masters of the Baron pit, giving this Purple Team no chance, of course, to take that Baron. Stolen it from them 3 times now. That third time wasn't exactly them getting pantsed, it was just Nocturne, of course, dying. And them not having their jungler, and of course them not having their smite. But the other 2 times was definitely them just getting absolutely pantsed in front of the entire school. The school being your audience, by the way. It's a school of League of Legends. It's very, very educational. Excuse me again. Dragon is up, and they're going to make a move on that. Take that dragon. And again, it is 52 minutes. 83.9k for Blue Team, 84.3k for Purple Team, 8 towers on either side, but a 1,000 lead at the 52 minute marks when it's 84,000 gold roughly on each side. 1,000 gold is not going to make a huge difference, but it could do. This game has been so close so far that 1,000 gold could make all the difference. These teams so evenly matched. This game's such a quality game of League of Legends. It's absolutely wonderful to witness, and I feel honoured that I got to cast this today. I feel even more honoured that you guys have managed to stick through to the 52 minute mark. I know this is a long game, but it will be well worth it, because this conclusion has got to be one thing, and that one thing will be epic. Blue Team do have Baron buff now, so they are feeling confident. Singe managed to dodge that. He does decide to engage here. This could be the end. Oh, they do engage. Cataclysm being put down, and Purple Team are in a good position here. The Vanguard catching them all in there. GS being popped left, right, and center. Doesn't look like Graves one was popped, and Jarvan is so very low. I don't know what's going down. There's so much colors. Graves will go down as well, about to take him out. It doesn't look like Blue Team have managed to take the advantage here. Somehow have come out ahead and will be able to take this game unless they can pull something out truly special. Nocturne will go down. Jarvan is being ticked away. Stride. Shaco will take the last kill. And that will be TG. That will be game. And an epic, amazing conclusion to this 53-minute long game that's absolutely horrendously balanced and huge game. Came down to a last engagement that Purple Team managed to grasp and claim victory, and I'm sure it tastes sweet. My name has been Mr. Wolfcast. I hope you enjoyed this cast. I hope you will continue watching my casts. If you guys have got feedback, by all means leave it. I'm all about that. I'm all about learning and trying to improve my skills. Apart from that, thank you guys for watching again. Take it easy and have a lovely day.